unwanted side effects, and that might be dry skin. It might be dry nasal passages, it might be just irritation. A lot of us feel it. We have two products that are very important. Phytoceramides, regarded as an internal moisturizer. It's a beauty secret from the inside out. And we have our algal DHA, which is a plant-based omega-3 product. This is all about grabbing, capturing, retaining that moisture, which is so important. A way to guarantee that we kind of get through this winter time, and heaven knows it's only just gone into December, so we've got all December and January. I mean, there's many months to go where we need to make sure we're protecting ourselves. I want to take you through the pricing. Winter special on Phytoceramides. When Andrew first kind of showed me and shared with me the importance of Phytoceramides, I was blown away. I never really understood it. Now I cannot tell you. My wife Chelsea swears by Phytoceramides. Here's what we're doing today. HSN normal price at $200 for the larger size. We're at $129.90. That saves you $70. And I'll get to the pricing on the algal in a few moments, but Andrew, winter specials, the dynamic duo, if you will.
We've never done this before, and this really was, because I read all the reviews and I read all the correspondence and communication, I learn a lot of things, sometimes things I'd rather not learn, but I'd say 99% of the comments are nice. Every once in a while I get others.
For worse.
Yeah, it's the nature of the digital world. I'm good at being the overwhelming positive response is what I tend to focus on.
There you go.
So, but what I'd learned is that, of course, this time of year, and wherever we are, here we are in Henderson, Nevada, it's the desert, and even if it's cloudy and it seems humid in the desert, and it gets cool here, at night it gets into the 30s here or even cooler. So when you heat the air, wherever you are in the U.S., when you heat the air, you dramatically lower its relative humidity. That is why this time of year, especially outside, if you live in the Midwest or in the Northeast where it's quite cold, your skin gets extremely dry.
Dramatic.
And where I really notice it isn't so much my skin. I'll notice it in my throat.
Right.
I'll notice it in my nasal passages. I'll notice it in my sinuses. And what happens at night, we sleep, whatever, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours.
Yeah.
When we sleep at night, we breathe slowly and rhythmically, and we're breathing air that's probably right around 0% relative humidity. And what does that do? It dries out all the mucous membranes. It dries out all those tissues. It affects their health. It affects their viability as a good barrier to whatever we're worrying about, whether it's bacteria or viruses and things like that. Part of our mucous membranes working well is keeping them moist. So again, the system of moisturizing, it starts with our making sure we're well hydrated.
Right.
That involves drinking water. But this time of year, no matter how much water we drink, no matter how much tea or things we might do to be well hydrated, unfortunately, that dry air just is this persistent drying force that's drying out all of those tissues. So yes, this time of year, phytoceramides are interesting and exciting because of our skin.
Yep. And
yes, omega-3s, we'll talk about our algal DHA. We did something very special on that for this visit for the winter. That omega-3s are part of the way our body retains moisture. So how does this work? First of all, we deliver water to our body. Water naturally wants to evaporate. If you're in a very dry environment in the winter, water wants to evaporate quickly, very, very quickly. How does our body oppose that force, that evaporation? The first molecule on the list with the responsibility of making sure that the water doesn't leave our body quickly so that our skin stays moist and appears moist and our mucous membranes stay moist and the tissues of our eyes and the tissues of our sinuses and our passageways and our nasal passageways and things like that stay moist, that's phytoceramides. Phytoceramides are a very interesting fatty molecule, and their principal role in the body is retaining moisture. And it's a wonderful system. We understand that water and oil don't mix. It's that property that allows these oily molecules, these fatty molecules, to act almost like a plastic bag. So because membranes are typically lipid bilayers, they hold on to the moisture inside. So phytoceramides, actually cholesterol a little bit as well, but phytoceramides are this incredibly effective molecule at holding on to that precious water that we have. And when it comes to our skin, it might be about vanity. But when it comes to the inside of our body, our lungs, our bronchial tubes, our nasal passages, our sinuses, our mouth, our eyes, it truly is precious, precious water. It's not just about vanity. It's about comfort. It's about health. It's about our very well-being. So phytoceramides are not just critical to have nice, healthy, appearing, radiant skin and to help combat wrinkles, and that's why it's such a popular product and such a well-reviewed product. But it's also doing that work for other tissues that we tend to neglect, but are really important, especially this time of year. And omega-3s, we'll talk about them in a moment. We'll talk about our alkyl DHA, but omega-3s are the perfect partner, the most important of the fatty acids. And again, as I said, the membranes in our body with the responsibility of holding on to that precious water, those membranes use the differential attributes of fat and water. They oppose each other. If you had a glass full of water, it would evaporate in a short period of time. If you just poured even just a tablespoon of olive oil on the surface of that water, guess what? It would evaporate much more slowly. Why? Because the olive oil would be protecting it. And that's exactly what your body uses phytoceramides and omega-3 fatty acids to do. It uses those opposing properties that they don't blend well with each other. Those fats actually exert a protective effect, and that's how we preserve the moisture of our skin. That's why phytoceramides are so exciting. But that's also how we retain the moisture that we need in our body. So the phytoceramides, just quickly, let's do, and shall we move to the alkyl DHA?
Yeah.
And the other wonderful thing about these products is when you're talking about alkyl